Have you ever noticed how silence sometimes speaks louder than any carefully crafted speech? In a world where everything turns into news within seconds, where every discovery is live-streamed, photographed, analyzed, and reposted, it feels strange, almost suspicious when something truly extraordinary happens, and no one says a word. That's exactly what happened with 3IAtlas. A rare interstellar visitor, the kind that appears maybe once in a lifetime, slipped past the orbit of Mars without causing the excitement you'd expect. It simply drifted across our cosmic backyard, almost as if it didn't want to be noticed. But the strangest part wasn't the comet itself. It was the reaction of the world's major space agencies. NASA stayed oddly quiet. The ESA kept its distance. And China said absolutely nothing. And when the ones who always talk suddenly choose silence, you know something big is being hidden. You continued with your normal life. Work, family, responsibilities. The everyday rhythm that never stops. Everything seemed fine. But above your head, an object with the potential to redefine our understanding of the cosmos was passing by, and nobody bothered to mention it. No press conferences, no stunning images, no enthusiastic scientists celebrating a rare opportunity. And here's the thing, sometimes the biggest truths don't arrive with noise and fireworks. They arrive quietly, as if they're waiting for the right people to notice. That's why this story isn't just about a comet. It's about awareness. About what happens when the pieces don't fit, but the world pretends everything is normal. 3IAtlas was detected quietly at first. Astronomers noticed its approach, assuming it was just another icy traveler from the dark outskirts of the universe. But soon they realized it wasn't local, it was interstellar, only the third of its kind ever recorded. For astronomers, that's like finding an ancient message sealed in a bottle floating through time. These objects don't behave like the ones born in our solar system. They carry clues from distant places, maybe even distant eras. But strangely, almost nothing was shared publicly about this one. And ironically, the silence, more than the comet itself, became the alarm that made millions of people pay attention. The turning point came when an anonymous post on X, formerly Twitter, went viral. It wasn't a random conspiracy theory. It was a detailed analysis filled with technical references and data comparisons. The author claimed that the world's major space powers were hiding information about 3IAtlas in a coordinated effort. And as bizarre as that sounds, the clues started piling up. It was like someone had turned on a flashlight in a dark room. Suddenly, people around the world began digging, investigating, asking questions, and discovering the same thing. There was almost no official information, only a silence that felt rehearsed. The world wanted answers. What do we actually know about Atlas? The official record was shockingly thin. Even though NASA, ESA, JAXA, and others tracked the object, none of them released clear images, full reports, or comprehensive data. That's not normal. When something rare appears in the sky, scientists usually rush to publish everything they can. But this time was different. Information came out in vague fragments, incomplete and unconvincing. like they were deliberately hiding the missing pieces. When pressure finally grew, NASA responded. Their explanation? The government shutdown had delayed their analysis. A convenient excuse. One that didn't convince even the experts who usually defend the agency. Space telescopes don't get turned off because politicians disagree. The ESA gave a more elegant answer. We're processing the data. But again, no actual data appeared. No preliminary images, no graphs, no early reports. Just nothing. And then came the strangest part. China. The Chinese National Space Administration said absolutely nothing. No photos, no statements, not even a vague comment. And this is especially odd because China loves showing off its technological capabilities, especially when it comes to space. If 3IAtlas were just a regular comet, China would have proudly published its findings before anyone else. But their total silence suggested only one thing. They saw something and decided the world shouldn't know. As agencies remained silent, independent scientists stepped in. And that's when the real mystery deepened. Multiple anomalies started popping up. The comet's chemical composition didn't match what we normally find in comets. There were elements in unexpected proportions, signals that didn't align with natural formation models. Its non-gravitational acceleration raised eyebrows too. The object seemed to gain speed without any visible force pushing it. Sunlight alone couldn't explain it. And there were no jets of gas or dust that could account for the sudden boost. It was as if an invisible force was acting on it. Another surprising detail emerged. Its estimated age was between 7 and 14 billion years. Think about that. The object might be as old as the universe itself, possibly older than the Milky Way. Imagine observing something that has existed since before our galaxy took shape, a relic traveling through cosmic time. With so many unusual features, researchers at Harvard proposed a bold but scientifically legitimate idea. Atlas might be artificial in origin. Not necessarily a spacecraft, but possibly an object created or altered by an unknown intelligence, or shaped by processes we still don't understand. The point wasn't to feed fantasies, but to acknowledge that the universe is far stranger and more complex than we imagine. Ignoring the signs would be irresponsible. At the same time, some scientists tried to calm the public. Astronomer Emerson Roberto Perez explained that Atlas posed no threat of collision and had already passed its closest point to the Sun. He emphasized that studying it would have been a golden opportunity to learn about the early universe. But even he admitted that the lack of official data made proper analysis nearly impossible. And whenever there's a lack of clarity, speculation becomes inevitable. 3IAtlas is drifting far away, too distant for clear observation, too quiet to reveal its secrets. It entered our solar system, left behind more questions than answers, and vanished into the cosmic dark. But the mystery remains, because the silence of the world's leading space agencies left a scar on our curiosity. When three global powers stay quiet at the same time, the question changes from what is Atlas to what did they see? And now the story reaches you. Knowing everything you know, there's a bigger question to reflect on. How many truths have passed above our heads without us ever knowing? How many discoveries were buried before the public ever had a chance to hear about them? How many mysteries were locked away simply because someone decided the world wasn't ready? So I want to know your thoughts. What do you think is really being hidden about 3IAtlas? Leave your opinion in the comments. Your perspective might spark a conversation no one has dared to start. And if you want to keep exploring mysteries, questioning official explanations, and seeing the world with new eyes, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. This journey is only beginning, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.